Welcome to the Daily. It's Thursday, April 28th. I'm Jason Seguini, here by myself today. I actually thought about not coming in after last night's heartbreak at Rio Tinto Stadium. Real Salt Lake losing 1-0 to Monterrey. This is their first loss at home in 38 games. Really amazing streak that they were on. Unfortunately, it came to an end at the wrong time. Monterrey, now champions of CONCACAF, will head to Japan and represent CONCACAF at the Club World Cup. The goal, the deciding factor in this game, came from Humberto Suazo. There's a little bit of class in traffic. He did well to take an extra touch, make sure he could bury it. It was one better than Real Salt Lake could do. They put a ton of pressure on the goal, especially towards the end of the game, moving Jamison Olave up top. They just couldn't do it. A couple shots went wide, a couple were saved. Unfortunate for the fans in Salt Lake. This is the end of what was a great run, and hopefully what came out of it is more notoriety for this tournament. We want MLS fans to know about it, know how important it is, and hopefully MLS teams to take it as seriously as Real Salt Lake did. There's plenty of news and reaction on MLSsoccer.com. You can follow that all day. Ahead of the next CONCACAF Champions League tournament, the Nutrilite Canadian Championship kicked off last night. This tournament decides which team represents Canada in the next Champions League. Vancouver was at Montreal in the first matchup. This is a home-and-home series. Vancouver got a 1-0 victory in Montreal thanks to a Terry Dunfield goal. The standout star was Russell Teibert, the young Canadian international in this game. Good to see him out on the field. Also good for Vancouver fans to see Shea Salinas back in action. Moving to Edmonton, where Toronto FC came to town for the first of their head-to-head series. Toronto wins handily, 3-0, thanks to a Maicon Santos brace and an Alan Gordon goal. The guy who may not show up on the score sheet but did very well in his first start is the Ecuadorian international Joao Plata. Aaron Vinter giving the young player his first start, and he came through very well, involved in most of the action for Toronto throughout the night. The Red Bulls releasing some news this morning that they will be headed to the Emirates Cup. Hosted by Arsenal, so Thierry Henry will be headed back to his former stomping grounds this summer, July 30th and 31st. The other teams involved, Boca Juniors from Argentina and PSG from France. Should be a very exciting summer for Red Bull fans. Obviously, the All-Star game will be hosted at Red Bull Arena just days before that tournament. Some news from across the pond yesterday. Clint Dempsey scores 2 goals for Fulham in a 3-0 win over Bolton, becoming Fulham's all-time leading scorer in the EPL. Very impressive accomplishment for the American over there at Fulham. Finally, Brian Mullen, who's been absent from Colorado training this week, released a statement yesterday apologizing to Steve Zakuani. We expect to hear later this afternoon from the league office on what the final suspension will be for Mullen. Reminder, Extra Time Radio, later today, we're going to have our special Fandemonium podcast where we give the voice to the fans. Nick and I will host, but we want to hear what the fans are talking about. And obviously, with this Mullen incident, with the Champions League, there's plenty to talk about. So tune into that later. You can get it on iTunes or Buzzsprout.